you know what, even if the day wasn't the best, finding one thing that was amazing, one thing that was a miracle, and just putting it down allows my mind to start to wind down and go to a positive place. So I'm not having nightmares. The mind is fresh, everything is good, and we're gonna have the best sleep ever. Hey friend, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Tokes, and I give you strategies and tips around business, relationships, and personal development. Today, I want to give you my 3-part approach to managing my time and being productive. So for those of you who don't know, I currently have a 9-to-5 while I'm also an entrepreneur running my business, which includes this YouTube page, the Tokes Talks podcast. I'm currently writing my 2nd poetry book while also expanding on my speaking engagements, running workshops, and also doing course creation and development. This sounds like a lot, and if I'm being honest, it kind of is, but the way that I manage my time allows me to be peak productive without having to worry about things like burnout. I was going through really bad burnout in March, and I never want to get there again. So I want to share with you these productivity tips in hopes that they can help you really organize your time, stay on top of what's important to you, and get it all done without losing your head. So the first thing I do is allocate my time. When I think of all of the things I need to do for a week, the sheer amount of staring at all of these words on paper or jumbled up in my head can be so overwhelming. So what I've done that's been working for the past 1.5 years is allocated days of the week to certain tasks. So Mondays is when I write. That is the day that I write content for the week, when I organize myself. Tuesdays is when I write poetry, so I work on my book and do things like that. Wednesday is my admin day. It's the day where I do all of my emails, wipe out, empty my emails. Of course, if there's emails that are coming in throughout the week that are important, I answer them earlier, but if not, Wednesday is when you'll get that reply from me. Thursday is when I start to prepare for the next week, and I do a lot of video editing, creating content for the upper week. And Fridays, I really leave them to vibes. I leave them to vibes, to relaxing, and to anything that is left over from the week prior or throughout the week that I haven't gotten to. Being able to allocate my time this way has really helped me be much more productive because I look at the things that are important and reoccurring and I give them their designated day. Having allocated days has really helped me boost my productivity because it's given me designated pockets for all of the important and reoccurring things. I know I have to write my book, so I want to write every single week for at least 2 hours. So knowing that that is what I do on Tuesdays makes it easy. I'm not trying to fit it into random spaces or allowing it to fall by the wayside. Same thing with having to create content, right? When I know I need to write a bunch of content for YouTube videos, write content for my social media, I need to record, I need to edit, these things happen all the time, every single week. Same thing with answering my emails. So giving them their designated day and honoring my time in that way really reduces the amount of stress that I face. I know that today, this is what I'm focusing on. I'm not gonna have to look or worry about all the other stuff because their day will come. So look at everything that reoccurs in your life, in the work that you do, and pick a day to dedicate to it. Pick an amount of time. If it's a 2-hour event or 2-hour task, get it done in those 2 hours. If you need more than that, do that as well, but just make sure that you stay on top of that and it'll really help you increase your productivity. The next tip that I have is to have a solid nighttime routine. I've noticed that what I set myself up for the night before sets the precedent for the day after. If I am writing out my to-do list for the day the morning of, I'm already behind. So in the night, I have a few things that I do that really help me stay on top of myself, on top of my tasks, and really keeps me calm and I don't wake up flustered. The first thing that I do is that I write my intentions out for the next day. And when I talk about my intentions, these are the things that I know are necessary to be completed. In general, I like to keep my daily tasks at around 3 to 5 tasks maximum. And the reason why is because anything more than that, I found for myself, I usually don't get them done. And even if I have a long laundry list of things to do, if I'm being very honest with myself, there's usually 3 to 5 things that are the most important, and the rest of them can be pushed forward. So I give myself those 3 to 5 things that I want to do for the day. I look over them. I determine in myself why they're important. I write them down so that the next morning I'm not racking my head trying to remember what's important, what I didn't finish from the day before, what I need to move over, what's allocated. So I do all of this the night before to allow myself calm rest and a smooth morning, because when I have horrible rushed mornings, it messes with my whole day and I don't have time for that. Another thing that I do is that I read. I have 2 books that I read a month. One is an AM book, which is usually Christian based, something spiritual of my faith to give me perspective, and then a PM book, which is just vibes. It can be a self-help book, it could be a storybook, whatever I'm particularly finding interesting at that time. I have that available to me and I read that at night. This allows me to really slow down and calm down my spirit, because I know the nights where I am on Netflix until I fall asleep or scrolling through Instagram till I fall asleep, my sleep is not as restful, just because I'm doing way too much, I'm moving too much, there's too much stimuli going on. So I like light a candle and I read my book. Another thing that I do is that I write down a gratitude or a miracle for that day. So in my bullet journal, and if you'd like to see my bullet journal setup, it's something that I've been doing for years and I really love, let me know in the comments below and I'll make a video all around my bullet journal, how I use it, how it's been effective, and I can maybe even show you examples of my past bullet journal spreads and how it's evolved to where it is right now. But I always write down one thing I'm grateful for or a miracle that has happened that day. This allows me to be in a positive mindset of, you know what, even if the day wasn't the best, finding one thing that was amazing, one thing that was a miracle, and just putting it down allows my mind to start to wind down and go to a positive place. So I'm not having nightmares. The mind is fresh, everything is good, and we're gonna have the best sleep ever. So these are the things I do for my nighttime routine that really set me up for success the next day and keep me productive. And the final tip is to have an effective morning routine. As I said, like, your night routine is everything because it sets you up for the morning, but your morning sets you up for your day. So one thing that I really like to do every single morning is make sure that I do something for my mind, my body, and my spirit. So for my mind, I read in the morning, right? I read, as I said, my spiritual book, which I guess could also be for my spirit, but it's really just to get my mind focused. And another thing that I do is I journal first thing in the morning. I journal, it could be about my dreams, it could be about random thoughts I have, it could be expanding on the gratitude or whatever it is that happened the day before that I just kind of want to get out. This allows me to brain dump all of the extra information in my mind, clear it out, get it out of my mind onto paper so that now my mind is clear and ready for all of the information and the events and tasks that I have to do for the day ahead of me. For my body, I wake up and I drink a lot of water. Like, I start off my morning with a bunch of water, and I've also recently incorporated working out for 20 minutes every morning before I hop in the shower. I used to like to work out at night, but I realized that if I'm having like a hectic day and life is just doing what it does, I'm very likely to skip that. But when I do it in the morning, I also notice that since I've worked out already, it really positively affects the choices I make throughout the day. I'm not going to want to eat recklessly or eat trash because I've already worked out, and I feel like I'm wasting all of that good workout on like eating bad food and all of that stuff, right? So that's another thing that I do for my body. And for my spirit, I pray, I meditate, I reread my gratitude, I set my intention for the day, I take whatever it is I need to do for the day, I look over it again, determine why it's important, determine the amount of time it's going to take and how I want to conquer them, the order that I want to do them in, and I get it all done. So these are my 3 tips for productivity. They are quite general. You need to figure out what's the most important things to put into your morning and nighttime routines, and also how you're going to allocate your time. But if you stay consistent having a morning routine, a nighttime routine, and allocating your time as much as possible into specific days, especially if you have a lot to do and you're multi-hyphenate. I promise you that you will see so much improvement and progress, and it will really reduce the amount of stress and strain you have on yourself because you're on top of it and it's not on top of you. You're not going to drown. You're conquering everything you need to conquer, and it will help you to be able to see, first of all, even what's important. Maybe there's certain things that you're allocating your time to and you determine that, maybe I don't need to do it that much. Maybe it's something that could be bi-weekly because now that I have this consistent system in place, I don't need to dedicate as much time because I know when I do dedicate time, I'm getting way more done. So I hope that this really helps you, and I'd love to know of any other productivity tips that you have that keeps you on top of all of the work you have to do and allows you to do your best work at the end of the day, right? So I hope this helps. Share it with a friend, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.